One of the most underutilized sources of keywords. Hardly a single seller, particularly in the book market, is using these keywords to rank their listings. And I think you're going to be downright shocked at how simple this is and how many people are overlooking this. So I'm certainly fired up for this. This is 2 straight book hacks in a row. I hope you're fired up for it. Let me know in the comments below, but let's do this. Like I said earlier, I've been on a roll lately and I've gotten some really good hacks, particularly if you're in the book market. Now, this could pertain to pretty much anything. To be quite honest, it could pertain to if you're selling an FBA private label product, it could pertain to t-shirts, and most importantly, it could pertain to Kindle books, KDP, which is the same crap, right? And same thing if you're doing an audio book. Obviously, you optimize that on the Amazon page. But let's talk about what it is first by picking a book to give you this example with. So I'm just going to go ahead and search children's activity book. And I think this is like extremely broad. Of course, you can be more specific. Whatever it is that your primary keyword is, that's what I would look to target. And what I'm going to look for is I'm going to pretend any book just randomly. I'm going to pick any book randomly here. We'll pick the last book on the page, or we'll pick one in between. I'm just going to scroll it and stop right here. We can pick this jumbo one. We're going to pick this 50 states one. This one, it actually has a good ranking. Let's pick this jumbo one. Let's pretend our book is this book by Activity Slayer, which does happen to be a pretty big mainstream seller, but let's just go ahead and select that as our target keyword. What we're going to use, we're going to use Zonbase. However, you can use just about any software that you use. They all should have something called a reverse ASIN checker. A lot of them will call it a different thing. I even forget what Helium 10 calls it. I just don't use it. I just feel it's too much. And I'm fine with Zonbase. I think I get plenty of value for the money. So I'm going to enter my ASIN and I'm going to hit search. And it's going to take a little while. So you're going to have to sit and wait. Oh, and maybe not. But it's going to allow you to analyze against 3 competitors. I do think Helium 10 and some of the others allow you to enter 20 ASINs. Right, so it allows me to analyze this with 3 competitors. Now, I do think that Helium 10 and some of the others let you do 20, but 3 is enough. I'm going to go ahead and click this down button here, and I'm going to start entering any 3 competitors. And the competitors that I chose are the ones that have the best BSR. So I'm going to scroll all the way back to the top, and I'm going to start picking out competitors that have pretty darn good BSRs, and I'm going to avoid these sponsored product listings. I'm just going to look at the ones like this one's number 33. We just got to have a look at that one. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to enter that URL here, hit add, and then I'm going to find 2 more now that have pretty good ones. This one's 3588. I'm going to grab that one and I'm going to stick it in there too. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter there and then hit add, and then I'm going to pick one more. This one's 42,000. I think we can do better than that. Here's 1857. I'm going to grab this one, copied here and paste. And obviously I'm just picking the highest or the best ranking BSRs for the example, but you could get more detailed and thorough and analytical about it, and you could pick books that are almost identical to your book. So these are just 3 random puzzle books, and I just picked them again because of the BSR. But what I would go do is I would go in there and pick books that most resemble your book. Now, once they're all selected, I'm going to click Analyze, and it tells us here it could take 1 to 2 minutes. I found that to be true, so you're just going to have to sit back, wait, relax, and be patient, and I'll be right back.
Moments later.
Okay, so finally, that felt like it took forever. To be quite honest, it was more than 2 minutes. However, that doesn't make a difference. What we're looking at here is all the keywords that relate to these books. So ideally, we'd like to have these keywords on our back end, but here's where the trick comes into play. And I want you to understand this simple fact. The Latin American market is the 2nd largest market that there is going on. In fact, it's probably the fastest growing market in all the USA. This has been happening for the past few years. And the USA is the 2nd largest market of speakers of Spanish, among other languages. So here is where this hack, and it's not even really a hack, it's just genius, comes into play. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna figure out what keywords can target the Latin market, and these people are buying on Amazon.com in the USA in record numbers. So you will now be front and center for these people. You will be showcased as the book for the Latin American market without having any Spanish, without any of that stuff, just because you simply pop up for those keywords. So all we got to do is hit this export button, and it's going to export and create a CSV file. And then I'll show you what we're going to do with the CSV file to be able to sort through all these hundreds and hundreds of keywords. In some cases, it could be close to 1,000 keywords, but here is the report. So it's downloaded, it's on my computer, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop on over to Google Drive and create a Google Sheet, and I'm going to import this. So I'm just going to go to File, Import, and then I'm going to find through the upload this particular sheet. I just popped in the sheet right there. I dragged and dropped it, and I'm just going to import data just like that. And it's going to take a couple minutes to populate again, not Zon-based minutes, but real minutes. And as you can see here, we've got everything popping up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 2 extra fields here. I'm going to create one that says language, and the second one's going to say translate. And I'm going to put the following formula in here, equals detect language, and then I'm going to put A2, and then close that off, hit enter. It's going to load up that information, and now I'm just going to double click this and populate it all the way down. And now for this second one, as soon as this loads up, all that information pops in, which it will in a second. It's still loading on some. I'm going to go ahead and put equals here, Google, let me caps this, Google Translate, and then I would hit A2 again, and then hit the close the parenthesis, hit enter. Now I'm going to just go hit double click this and let this all populate. It's going to take a little while for it to load on up. And now comes the fun part, that is sifting through all this data. As soon as it's loaded up, all we've got to do is come on over here, use the filter button, which is right here. And now what we're going to notice is when we click this little reverse hamburger, whatever the hell they call that thing, you're going to notice that we've got all these different language, including, ta-da, the magic 2 letters, E and S, which stands for Spanish on here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK, and we've got 3 keywords. Now, while that might not sound like a lot of these products have a lot more keywords, but you can clearly see that right here, one of them is a true long tail, and I just moved it over to the side. It doesn't matter really where it's at, but this is a true long tail keyword, as it's got books in Spanish for kids ages 3 to 5. And sure enough, that's exactly what this will say right here. It's going to say books in Spanish for children 3 to 5. And same thing, books for kids that are age 3. And then this last one is toys for learning, toys of learning, learning toys, same thing. So while in this particular instance, it didn't give us a ton of keywords, once you start to put in 20 ASINs, or you start to add several different books, your group of keywords can grow quite large. Like, people are looking for these books. It's a pretty decent amount of search volume, and not a lot of people are using this keyword on their back end, and it's as simple as putting it on your back end in order for you to pop up. Now, the odds are that once people get a load of what is happening here, more and more people will begin to use this, but right now, at this very moment, not a lot of people are using this particular technique, especially to uncover those keywords. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I know it was fast, I know it was furious, but there's not a lot to say. It's just a smart thing to do at the present time. So if you're enjoying all these hacks that I'm putting up for KDP, let me know down below. I'm actually thinking of putting together a mini course that shows you about 10 more hacks, or one major hack, which is knowing how to figure out your competitors' back-end keywords. If you're interested in that, give me a yes below. And I got to go control this doodle who's moving my camera around. The doodle's gone wild. But questions and comments below, I always personally answer those, and I'll see you guys next time.